Nelly?
How you doing? Question for head coach Tom Brands.
Well, what did it mean to have Patrick Kennedy as an option, somebody that you can plug into the lineup and
You have your best guys that you look at on your roster, and the best guys will find themselves into the lineup. And he found himself in the lineup. And that's a really good philosophy, and it's been a timeless, ageless, I guess, way to march. And Kennedy's the type of guy where he doesn't get uptight on whether he's at the right weight or not. Let's do it. That was his quote. He's not flexible at going whatever, but when he's given options that are maybe a little limited, he's going to take the opportunity. He is a soldier. He is a loyal teammate, and he's what anybody would crave to have on their team, no matter what kind of team you have. Unbelievable character, that guy.
What's it been like seeing him wrestle around with Franek and Caliendo a little bit, just kind of improving those middleweight?
I don't know if, you got to understand wrestling rooms and dynamics. So there's, it's competitive and they're all on the same mission. But, I think him and Franek get along great. But there's competition with Caliendo and Kennedy. And that's not a natural barrier, but it's a natural don't talk about it type thing, but they do just fine. And we had Caliendo in the lineup, and we had Kennedy in the lineup. And when you're putting two guys like that in our lineup, doesn't matter what weight they're at. Pretty good talent right there. Pretty good guys. Pretty good firepower. Pretty good assets. And we love it.
Could that be a permanent home for him at 174?
I don't. It's freaking December, and we got 2 appeals left, and we got this, and we got that, and we got so many messes to clean up. We're going to Penn, and that's what we're worried about. And 15 guys get on that plane, and that's where our focus is.
What does it say to kind of have that versatility where guys can move around like that?
Depth is good, so that's a good point. But, this thing will shake out. It'll be a lot clearer, I guess, to answer KJ's question a little more thorough, more detailed. It'll become a little clearer after the soldier salute. But I'll tell you what, when you got guys that are like, when they're available and you've had, 1 or 2 workouts in 30 days and you say, let's go, that's what I'm talking about at the moment. The other stuff take care of itself, but it'll become clearer as we get down the road.
How big was it for Drake Ayala's confidence to bounce back against Iowa State?
I think confidence is a thing that is dictated by your mindset. It's hard to go forward after losses, and he did it the best way he could, and here we are. And now we're going to Penn, and we're going to be in a den, a lion's den there, or whatever you want to call it, a beehive, and we got to be ready to go. And he's one of them that has to be ready to go. So you're steady, and you go forward. And he did have a low moment, but he was steady and he went forward. But much easier and better to go forward with success. And he had some success in a big match, on a big stage, and good for him, good for us, good for the Hawks.
Talk about Zach Glazier and how he's performed this year. I think he's been undefeated so far.
Very steady, building leads, wrestling situations very intelligently. His wrestling IQ is showing up. That's a really good thing to see. He's healthy, and we love it.
How has he improved on his feet? He seems a little more fluid, or
I think he's who he's always been, and the best of him is in the light now. And there's a lot of things that go into that. And when you're humming and all cylinders are firing, and there's not all these hiccups sometimes that you run into in your career, good things happen. So his best wrestling showing up, and that is because of his efforts. It is because of his mindset and his attitude and his approach. But there's some other things too where, he was dealing with some things that, aren't fun to deal with when you're a competitor. And he's healthy, and we got to keep him healthy, and we got to keep him humming and hammering. And he's humming and hammering. Let's keep improving.
How gratifying is it to see a guy who's kind of paid his dues a little bit as a senior there to kind of just start to have the success?
I mean, it's good to see anybody have success, and I don't think it matters really. It's he's given an opportunity and he's making the most of it, and he's not looking back, and we love it.
What do you know about Penn? And you talked about the venue where you're going to be at. What kind of situation is this going to be Friday?
It's going to be a freaking beehive, and they're excited. We got to be ready to go. It's a Palestra, historic facility. I've been there before for some events and also for a tribute to one of America's greatest ambassadors in the sport of wrestling, Dave Schultz. And we're going back there to wrestle Penn, and they're making a big deal out of it, and they should, and we're excited to be a part of it, but we got to be ready to go.
How have these guys really rallied around each other and kind of gelled as a team?
I mean, you're talking about things that are like character related, and those are things that aren't really coached. We just have a good group of guys, and we have for a lot of years, where you're seeing these things where they're tight and they're close, and there's not like a lot of isolated groups that kind of stick to themselves. And then this group over here, it's not coached into them. It's who they are. And we have great leadership in our ranks. Hawkeye Wrestling Club is awesome. Those mentors, our coaching staff, not nearly as significant as the roster policing themselves. So give them credit.
It's been, obviously, as you mentioned, it's December. It's still very early as you kind of figure out your lineup. But what are you looking for in a starter, maybe at 184 pounds in particular?
We are figuring that out. It will be a lot clearer as we get down the road after the break. We're looking for 10 weight classes that are going to, contribute. And we're really a long ways away from that. Meaning, what pieces do we put together? We have 2 appeals, and I am not conceding those. I don't care come hell or high water until those appeals are done and that decision is final. And so that's an important part where we're going forward. This isn't something where we're rushing down the decision making. Hurry up and make a decision. We have things that we are battling, and we got people that are battling with us. We got outside counsel from a different state that is battling with us in this fight still for justice. That's one, and I'm done, and you got the man. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Kennedy? Yep. Glazier.